Deepak, thank you so much for being willing to join us here at the Institute of Noetic Sciences. I'm Cassandra Vieten, President of IONS, and all of you know Deepak Chopra. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about this interview that you did with our board chair, Claudia Wells, about your new book, You Are the Universe.
Well, yes. The book ends with the conclusion that the universe is a human construct in human consciousness. In other words, we made it up. There's no such thing as the universe, just like there's no such thing as a body or a mind. These are human concepts or human constructs for modes of knowing and experience in human consciousness. So consciousness interacts with itself, modifies itself as modes of knowing in the form of sense perceptions, sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. These are all qualia, qualities of awareness. So when I ask you, what is this? You might say it's a wallet, but if I showed this to a baby, all it would have is an experience of a shape, a smell, a texture, a taste. It might try to eat it or play with it or throw it away, depending on whether it's having a good time or not. But it has no concept wallet or no concept iPhone or no concept glasses. Or if I asked, you, what is this? You would say it's a hand, but the baby would experience this in the same way as it experiences this. And so anything that we can give a name to or describe, because those are human activities, anything that we can give a name to or describe, from gluons to quarks to quanta to stars to galaxies to a body or mind, these are names humans have given to modes of knowing and experience in human consciousness. They are just modified forms of consciousness. So if we were to get to the bottom line, there's only consciousness. Everything else is a human construct, also in consciousness. So there is only consciousness. And why is this important to know? Because it's important to know is through constructs, we created what we call human civilization. So we modify our modes of knowing and experience to create technology, art, music, science, philosophy, theology, religion, God, humans. We call animals by names. No giraffe knows that it's called a giraffe, right? So everything that we can give a name to or describe is our construct based on consciousness modifying itself as sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. And when I say sensations, that includes, sense perceptions. So there is no experience of this without the seeing of this, and seeing of this, and this, and this, and this, and this, or the stars and galaxies. That seeing is a modification of consciousness. It's an activity of consciousness, just like hearing is an activity of consciousness, and textures, the experience of a sensation or texture is an experience in consciousness. If I close my eyes and just felt the sensation without thinking wallet or hand, that sensation is a modification of consciousness, as is seeing, as is hearing, as is tasting, as is smelling, but also thinking. So, when a baby sees this, it's just an experience. Then we say, this is a wallet, this is a hand, you have a body, and now the baby starts to have interpretation of experience in human language and creates a human universe. So we are experiencing a human universe, not a dolphin universe, but even the dolphin is a construct in our human consciousness. this is important because by creating constructs, we have created what we call modern civilization and science and technology and theology and religion and everything. But the consciousness in which those constructs are made, that is not in time. Only the experiences are in time. The modulations of consciousness are in time, which means that the real you, which is the ground of experience, is not subject to birth or death. Only experience is subject to birth or death. If I say I have a body, well, which one do I mean? I had the body of a baby, a teenager. Every molecule in my body has recycled even in the last couple of years. So the body is just an experience of consciousness within consciousness as this which you're seeing right now. And this activity is in time. The mental activity is in time. What we call a brain is also a construct. Because how do you know there's a brain? Well, you experience a shape and a form, or if you want to smell it or see it on a CAT scan. By creating constructs, we created civilization, but we also created atom bombs and nuclear weapons and climate change and extinction of species. And now we're risking our own extinction. So in a sense, we are in a fork in the road because there's no solution to the hard problem of consciousness if your ontological primitive is matter. But what is matter? It's a construct. It's the interpretation of an experience. See, this is an interpretation of an experience. So there's only consciousness, and it's eternal. It's not in time. It's formless. But without it, there would be no experience of form. Or experience of time, or any experience, including a thought or a feeling or an emotion or an image. So if we get this totally, the universe exists in us as a construct that we made it up, and we recycle those constructs over generations and eons of time. So we think our constructs are reality, but reality is the consciousness in which those constructs are created. So I hope I'm getting through on this. It's a very important thing to realize. Well, yeah, the universe is our creation. Sorry?
It turns the conventional way of thinking about things on its head, because most of us in this era in the West were taught that everything in physical reality is real and everything in your consciousness is imaginary. That word sort of, it's all just imaginary and therefore not important.
So here's the bottom line is, if you can see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, think about it, conceptualize it, and imagine it, it's not real. What is real is the formless awareness in which those activities occur.
And what is the implication of that for people's everyday lives? One of them that I can see is that it really makes a big difference how you cultivate your own consciousness.
Right. It makes a huge difference. Also, it's the realization that reality cannot be a system of thought, be it science or religion or philosophy or any system of thought. It can, theology, whatever. Reality is the awareness in which the thought arises, which is actually, you know, if you read yoga, Vashishta or the yogic texts, then they say that, you know, through meditation we get to the source of thought. But the source of thought is also the source of perception. It's also the source of conceptualization, imagination, creativity. It's the source of the universe. So the source of thought and the source of perception is the source of that which we call the universe. And it's timeless. So the real you is not subject to birth and death. The real you is timeless. The real you is formless, but experienced as form. The real you cannot be understood through a system of thought, but only through transcendence of thought, which is the whole purpose of yoga. The real you is eternal. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, fire cannot burn it, weapons cannot shatter it, wind cannot make it dry, weapons cannot shatter it, it's unborn, it's eternal, it's you. You are the universe. Aham Brahmasmi is the phrase. Aham, I am, Brahmasmi, the universe. So we're not even talking metaphorically. You literally are the universe, in which the body, mind, and universe are a unified activity through your own self-interaction. Yourself is not the body-mind, but the body-mind are an experience in yourself, so is the universe. And therefore, we can collectively participate in the evolution of the universe. Literally, that which we call the universe. 2 trillion galaxies, 700 sextillion stars, trillions of planets. Where do they exist? In our awareness. You can't separate the experience of that, or the conceptualization of that, or the mathematics of that. You can't separate that from the consciousness in which there is the activity. So bottom line, there's only consciousness, and it's who we are, and what the universe is.
Well, thank you, Deepak. That's really, really helpful, and I know our people will love hearing directly from you about it. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you taking the time with us, Deepak, and I hope you have a wonderful time with the rest of your PBS filming, and I can't wait to see you in person again soon.
Okay, same here.